Hello, students. Welcome back to school. So today we'll be learning how to sew our peg skirts using our previous pattern we drafted in our previous video. So this is the fabric and the lining I will use. So while cutting the front of the fabric, I'm going to make sure I cut on fold. So we have two sides of the front. So the center front, I'm going to place it at the fold and then pin through around and then add allowance at the top. I'll add 0.5 inch, and then the bottom I'll add 1 inch, and the side I'll also add 1 inch. I'll do the same thing for the back too. Pin and cut with 1 inch at the sides and down, and then 0.5 at the top. But I wouldn't cut on fold because I will have to have my zipper allowance at the back. I will then use the pattern of the fabric to cut the lining just exactly the way I cut the fabric. Remember to notch the parts for the darts, and then let's start sewing. So first thing first, I want to sew the darts for both the front part and the back sides of the skirts, including the lining too. I'm going to sew the darts. Remember the size of the dart I left was 0.5 centimeter for both sides. The length for the front is 3.5 plus 0.5 allowance. So the length of the dart for the front is 4. And the length of that for the back is 4.5 plus 0.5 for the allowance, which is 5. So we're going to sew the front of the fabric to the back of the fabric, the sides, the both sides. And then when I'm done with that, I would measure the allowance I want to use for my zip. Usually I use the length of my waist to my hip for my zip, and then I'll sew through to stop at the part I want to use for my slits. Okay, so for my slit I used 7-inch tool for my slits. So when I'm done with that, I'll do that same thing for my lining too. When I'm done with the lining, I'm going to attach the bottom part of my fabric to the bottom part of my lining, and then I'll sew through, and then I'll top stitch. I also sew the slit part too to where I marked my 7-inch lining and fabric together. So I'll go ahead to fix my zip. I'll fix it first to my fabric, then I'll fix it to my lining. But remember, I want to do an inner zip. So I'll use my zip footer to fix the zip first to the fabric. When I'm done fixing to this both part of the fabric, then I'll use the lining to turn it. So when you're done, your front and your back, or your inside and the outside, should look like this. Okay, so when I'm done, I would sew the waist, the lining, and the fabric together at the waist. I want to put a band. Okay, that's why I did that, because if I didn't want to attach a band, I would have turned the lining and the fabric inside before I even close up everything. So since I want to put a band, I'll sew the lining and the fabric together, and then I will attach my band. And remember, I want to have a neat finishing of my band, so I'm going to put the band through the front first, like inside the back. I'll sew the band, and then I'll turn it to the front, and I'll sew on top. Okay, so I'm done, and this is my outcome. Hey. Follow for more videos. See you later. Bye.